Good evening and welcome to a special assignment. My name is Aaron Muloisi. South Africa is a country with many cultures. It's also a constitutional democracy. When the line is blurred between culture and the rights of individuals, tensions arise. Tonight we're coming to you from the rural Eastern Cape, where an age-old practice of Ukuthwala has resurfaced, where young girls are abducted and forced into marriage. Our producer Asanda Magaqa went in search of the roots of Ukuthwala and the effects it has on the lives of several young girls today.
One rape,
Ukuthwala, although it was not the regular procedure, it was quite lawful.
The practice of Ukuthwala is an old custom. It literally means to carry. This is how some of the girls and women come to be married, by being forcibly abducted into their marital home. Bride kidnapping has recently come under the spotlight in South Africa, yet the practice is common throughout the world. In South Africa, it is still rife amongst the Mpondo in the Eastern Cape. But of late, this practice has come under fire for its apparent conflict with women's and human rights. This is the former homeland of Transkei, now forming part of the Eastern Cape. It is the area I grew up in, a place with a magnificent history, sumptuous with stories, be they fact, legend, or myth. But it is not to marvel at this history or the culture that brings me here. It is something more, a cultural practice that has in modern day been placed on a collision course with basic human rights. Tucked away between the hills off the R61 between Lusikisiki and Flagstaff is the Palmerton Care Center, where dozens of young women and girls have escaped their homes from forced marriages, otherwise known as the old age custom of Ukuthwala. We visit this center to find out what circumstances have brought them here. The Palmerton Care Center is located at the old Palmerton Methodist Mission Station. Today, it is a haven for about 300 children. I've come here to hear the stories of some 20 girls, some as young as 13, who have sought refuge here from Ukuthwala. Later that night, I had a chance to talk to Phumla. This is not her real name, and she's 15 years old.
I was asleep at home around 8. My older sister, who lives in Kakulu, called me and said to accompany her. On our way to the store, 3 men, including my husband, came out of nowhere and told me to go with them. I said no. I told them I had to go to school the following day. They told me I was to get married. I said no, I didn't want to get married. They told me that I wasn't the first girl to go through Ukuthwala, and they forced me to go with them, and they took me away. I cried the whole night. I cried so much, but the men there just put up the volume on the radio, playing it loudly. They said it was to make sure that no one could hear me in the village. He told me that he wouldn't have made me his wife if he didn't love me. He would chat to me, and the day I arrived, he made me sleep with him. It was the first time anyone had done that to me, what he was doing. I would cry, and he'd say I must accept it, because I was now married to him.
The story of Phumla shocked me. Though I am familiar with stories of the practice of Ukuthwala, I don't recall accounts of such brute force and violence. I certainly don't remember the part where children were forced into marriage. In Flagstaff, I meet the woman behind the Palmerton Care Center. She's the executive mayor of the OR Tambo District Municipality. We meet her to find out how a practice that has largely escaped scrutiny came to inspire a very personal crusade.
My daughter is married to that area. But since we're dealing with children and we have special programs unit relating to children, she's used to the kinds of concerns about children. So she noticed this little girl who was being chased by about 8 men. And she was running and she was falling time and again. And she had to stop. But the girl was running straight to the car and in front of the car. So she had to open the door and the girl came in. And she said she was being abducted. Ukuthwala.
We found the girl, who we will call Nono. She told us how she was abducted and held against her will.
Some
of my siblings came to see me and asked me if I wanted to be married. I said no. We came up with a plan that when the man was not looking, they will help me to escape. The people who had abducted me went behind the house, and that's when I escaped to my mother's house. I told her what had happened, and my mother said they wouldn't come to fetch me again. Soon thereafter, I was sent to the shop, and the men were waiting for me. They came after me again. I ran to my mother and told her that the men are coming. One of the men who was going to be my husband told me that he had called my mother and she said that he could come fetch me. They had gotten permission from my uncle and my grandmother.
Accounting economics wenza kahle kakhulu yapasa kakhulu
baqhamuka phakathi kombona bandileqa emgwaqweni ndabaleka bandigola kwaqhamuka enye imoto ihamba emgwaqweni yeza yafika iyama ngagijima ngafika ngangena emotweni ngabuza bakuthini ngabe singiyashibama abantu bafuna ungithwala mina angifuni kwenda ngiyafunda babe sebefika labantu babuza ibona bathi bona ekhaya kuvunyiwe nami futhi besebethethile nami bayamcela bayasithi angihlise ngathi mina angifuni ukuhlika ngeke ngihliye mina babe sebefonela mase bayamtshena ke wathi mama mabangithathe bangishiye emthonsathi emapoliseni.
And then she went to police. She reported the matter. The police could not take the statement, either from her or from the child, saying it's a culture. They don't know how to go about. They might be violating community norms.
After the break, culture and human rights on a collision course.
For the times we cried with joy and sorrow, for the moments we held our breath, and when you took our breath away, for every leap of faith and smile we've shared, for the close calls and near misses, for every step we took together, for the love of the game.
Look Looking back on way back when, we always thought that we'd be famous. Had each other's backs for years. Truth would always seem so painless.
A round of
After all that
it's waiting for you. It's a cold one. Come on, bro.
It's nice to know my brother is around.
We may not be related,
These could be,
but we are brothers.
these could be the best days of our lives.
Now you can buy Lotto conveniently wherever you are. Dial star 120 star 321 hash from your cell phone. Another helpful innovation from FNB.
To aquafresh your mouth is amazing. Did you know that 40% of your tooth surfaces are hidden between teeth, creating hard-to-reach places? That's why we invented Aquafresh Isoactive, a breakthrough gel that transforms into an active foam that not only protects between teeth, it removes 25% more germs. Go beyond toothpaste with the all-in-one protection of Aquafresh Isoactive. Aquafresh. Amazing.
Discover extraordinary purity. Clearly Smirnoff.
At Kwahlabati village, not very far from Palmerton, this practice is still common. We found this young woman wearing the traditional attire of recently married women. She told me that she was 15 years old and had an arranged marriage in April this year. She says she was told by her parents that her husband had been found for her. She says not only did she not know her husband, but she did not even love him. She also told me about the child growing in her belly as she fell pregnant shortly after being married. As she walked away, I realized that the cultural practice remains deeply entrenched in this society, and while some of the girls have escaped, others, like this girl, remain and have resigned themselves to their fate.
Hey, I'm sorry, Sonny.
This SABC classic drama portrays a modern Xhosa family forcing their daughter Nokolo into an arranged marriage. Nokolo rebelled against her family's wishes and escaped from a forced marriage into her true love's arms. Defying culture and tradition, she is in turn disowned by her own family. This drama is a true depiction of what happens to many young women in certain parts of the Eastern Cape, where the custom is still practiced. I spoke to Dale Ndima, a customary law expert at the University of South Africa. He was born in the Eastern Cape.
In original customary law, an individual's consent was not important. It was the families that had to negotiate and find consensus between them. And then if the man's family and the woman's family reach consensus in the negotiation, the consensus covers all their inmates, including the woman. Therefore, in original customary law, there was no emphasis on individual consensus. There was no emphasis on her consent. And it happens a lot nowadays because many young people who are lovers, they do just go together and start the process by doing that. That is Ukuthwala. Then you negotiate after you have started living with the woman. There's nothing which conflicts with the human rights if you do it that way. it only conflicts with human rights, as it was not acceptable even under customary law when the woman is taken by force.
Ingaba njengoba nje ufuna uba mdala nje ukhona ulwazi
wafona ubhuti esegule fonela usisi wami
and said I must go fetch money. I went there, and when I got to my aunt's house, I was told that there was no money. And I was accompanied by the other lady from my aunt's place. And she took me to the house where they said the money was. When I got there, the lady in that house, she went into the bedroom and emerged with the plastic bag.
Ndancokoliswa ngomnye usisi waphaya endibuza igama lam wasuke lo sisi waphuma wangena neplastic.
She took out the German print dress and put it on me, saying, I wasn't there for the money.
Tandi's husband-to-be wasn't even there. He was working on a mine in Rustenburg. Tandi stayed with her in-laws and performed the chores befitting a new wife. He came to fetch her a week later.
He came back from Joburg to his home village and found me at his home. It was late when he arrived, and he told me to go to bed with him. I went with him, but I got into bed with my clothes on. He forcefully took my clothes off and raped me. Then I came with him to Rustenburg. And he slept with me all the time.
The age factor is important because marriage was always allowed when the woman had reached marriageable age. It did not matter whether the woman was, the negotiations were started in the proper manner or by the irregular procedure of Ukuthwala. The woman had to be of marriageable age, otherwise it is not a marriage procedure at all.
I went to the village of KwaZulu where many of the instances of Ukuthwala happened. There I found an imbizo taking place. I went to speak to some of the elders of the community at the chief's house, and it soon became clear that they held quite a distorted view of the custom of Ukuthwala.
When the people from government came to inform us, we listened, and because they were coming with this information that what was happening was wrong, we were enlightened. But none of the girls came here to tell me what was happening. They were running to the police. How was I to know that they were being abducted?
There's no point in saying that the girls must get married when they are 18. The girls here, when they are 18, they have 2 or 3 kids already. Therefore, it is better to make a girl your wife at 14 or 15 years when they are still pure.
If a person is mature enough to be a traditional leader, that person should know how the proper practice of the custom is.
The Congress of Traditional Leaders supports this view, and at a recent summit called on authorities to take harsh action against perpetrators.
What we are hearing today is not what we know. You cannot take a child of 13 years and say you are making a wife out of that. That is a child. That is a criminal act. Police and the laws of this country should be dealing with those people.
We were holding a meeting with NPA, Gender Commission, all other stakeholders, Social Development Department. While they were we were in that meeting, abduction took place next to the chieftainess place.
Everybody then who is old enough to be a traditional leader knows that marriage is only allowed to children of marriageable age.
We were perturbed this came from government because people don't know. They didn't know what age Africans marry.
They didn't even know when girls get married. So we appeal to government not to take action against them because they didn't know. Those who do this now, in spite of knowing, can be punished.
The diminishing value of the girl child in the rural areas.
While we still marvel at the hidden complexity of a system, we have learned that the truly astounding is every system together in one perfect moment. The new generation Lexus RX, the world's only performance hybrid SUV, engineered for the moment in the pursuit of perfection.
All eyes are pointing up towards the sky.
Why are you here?
I want to be realistic with everyone. The 8 will not be able to go home.
Nobody really knew what this place was. There's a lot of secrets in District 9.
District 9.
Hypermania is back with savings to get loud about. Pick up a 1.5 kilogram tub of Stork Country Spread for $28.99, save R5. And 660 grams of I&J Light and Crispy Hake Fillets at $29.99, save R16. And 1.5 liters of assorted Dairy Bell Real Fruit Juice, now $13.99, save R4.80. That's the sound of the loudest savings around. Pick and Pay Hyper, inspired by you.
If you could get the average of the 5 highest qualifying money market funds in South Africa daily, why wouldn't you? To open an Investec Top 5 account with a minimum deposit of 100,000 Rand, call 0860 468 468.
Start smiling with Vodacom because this spring you can get a 2-year contract for the price of 1, plus a free phone. Like the LG KS360 was 135 on a weekend everyday contract, now only 69 Rand per month in the Vodacom spring sale. We are slashing up to 50% off, so visit us in store for even more big savings. Only from Vodacom.
Americans think our burgers are crazy. They say, why are you South Africans using those king-size Whopper Big 100% pure beef patties? You crazy. They tell us, why are you flame grilling those burgers by hand when you can just fry them in a machine? You crazy. They say, fresh sesame seed buns every day? Did you say sesame seeds? Did you say fresh? You crazy. And then we told them about Wacky Wednesday. They say, and now you go give them away 2 for the price of 1. Holy moly, son, you crazy. Well, we say go get 2 legendary Wacky Wednesday burgers for $24.95. Decide for yourself how crazy we are.
Over the years, men across our land have celebrated their finest achievements with a truly rewarding beer. A beer that's proven itself at brewing competitions around the world. Cullen Black Label has worked hard to be South Africa's most awarded beer. Cullen Black Label. More refreshment, more reward at the end of the day.
This is the OR Tambo district of the Eastern Cape, the province that I call home. It's a rural paradise of rolling hills stretching out for kilometers on end. This is the province that has given birth to many of South Africa's greatest leaders. This also remains the place where poverty and underdevelopment remain at their harshest.
And it's here in this same province where the value of the girl child is seen to be diminishing day by day.
Hence the old say that there's no reason to educate a girl because after all, you don't invest, because she belongs somewhere, not here. Because in the past, when there wasn't much poverty, the girls were preserved. The girls were referred to as flowers of a particular area. But today, they are not given even an opportunity to reach that stage. They are also just thrown somewhere. All what is believed is that she must get married, probably as soon as possible.
As I left the area, I wondered to myself if Ukuthwala has a place in this current dispensation, this age of freedom and basic human rights for all, including children. I asked myself if it should not be abolished completely.
Whenever something wrong happens, especially which is related to African customs, people don't fight the wrong thing that is happening. They will say the custom itself must be stopped. I have quite a problem with that because the people are Africans. They are not going to stop. And you won't have enough jails to put them to. You won't do that. Whatever goes wrong, if the custom is not being properly carried out, deal with the wrongdoers. If young children are being twala'd, that is not twala. Twala only happens when the girls are of marriageable age.
So, where to now for the girls at the Palmerton Care Center?
At this stage, we are at 2.5 million spending, with the exclusion of the buildings that we are putting up and security. We have seen ministers, very important people coming down. Nothing has happened so far. Honestly, we have received no other material support.
When I was married, they were very happy. And they said, after all, a woman's grave is at her marital home, and that it was a great thing that I'd gotten a husband.
I am scared, but I would like to go home. I haven't been ever since I went to get married, but I am scared. It's like they'll take me back.
Many others remained behind at my village because they figure that they've missed too much schooling, so they might as well stay with their husbands.
I want to be educated so I can make a difference at home. I don't just want to be married. When I am a doctor or a teacher, I will return to my community because I want to show them that educated people can come from there. At present, no one is educated there. Girls just get married at 15 or 16 because they have no other prospects for a better life.
We all wish for a life with a happy ending, but for Pumla, Tandi and Nono, and many others in their shoes, life isn't a fairy tale. But even for the girl child in the rural areas, change is still possible. And moreover, there is always hope.
Well, that's our program for tonight. Join us again next week for more in-depth investigative journalism. And remember, if you have any comments, story suggestions, or even video clips, please send them to us at truth@sabc.co.za. Thank you for watching, and good night.